Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Mom on the Verge podcast, where I aim to help you improve your sense of joy, purpose, and meaning in this life. We will talk about a lot of different ways we can do this, but ultimately, we'll be working toward finding our way back home to ourselves and remembering that even in the most challenging times, peace is only a breath away. I am your host, Katie Farinas, a mom, nurse, and yogi on a mission to improve mental health and build community in our world. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to another minisode. Before we get to this this week's minisode, I wanted to ask you to please share this episode with a friend, like or review the podcast. It really does help me to grow my podcast, reach more people hearing these messages, more people coming home to themselves, more people stepping into their passions and their purpose and living fulfilled lives. So I would be so grateful to you if you would share it with a friend, like it, or leave a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever, Spotify, wherever you listen. Also, just a reminder that if you do listen on Spotify, you can comment on the show directly through Spotify. So I always love hearing your feedback, questions, comments, all those things. So if you're on Spotify, you can comment right there. Otherwise, you can email me at katie@momontheverge.org, or you can send me a DM through Instagram, which is Katie Mom and Yogi. Also, I want to remind you to please sign up for the newsletter. If you haven't done so already, you can go over to my website, momontheverge.org, and sign up there. But you can also sign up. I'll put it in the show notes, a link. But if you do go over to my website, you can download my 3 journal prompts to discovering your Dharma for free. And I also have a workbook, 5 steps to discovering your Dharma, and I will link that actually in the show notes. So you can have that. And I'll also link my mindfulness guide. So the holidays are coming up. It's going to start getting crazy, everyone. Our schedules are going to get, tighter and busier, and hopefully it's a lot of joy and a lot of wonderful things, but that doesn't negate what it does to our nervous system to be that busy all the time. So we really need to come back to our very simple mindfulness practices, those things that don't take any extra time out of our day, but are really effective at calming our nervous system and helping us to stay grounded and feel internally peaceful and connected. Because unless we feel those things, we can't feel the joy of the season or the gratitude of the season or the love of the season when we're too dysregulated. So coming back to these really simple practices is great. You can download the guide. You can keep it as a screensaver on your phone, or just save it to the favorites in your phone. I can't speak in the where your photos are located on your phone. Every day, come back to it, find something that resonates with you that you can use to really recenter yourself. Okay, so now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's talk Dharma. So I was thinking this week about service for many different reasons. I think that, with the holidays coming up, it really does remind us of the importance of service and how important it is, not only for the person receiving the gift of service that we may be offering, but how it influences us and the way that we feel, and the amount of love and gratitude and joy, the capacity with which we can hold each of these amazing high vibration feelings that are really the reasons for being here, right? The gifts of this life are these feelings. And so service really is a portal to experiencing more of those feelings. And when we talk about your Dharma and your soul's purpose, it's not just about you, right? But yes, it's about you because it's your soul's purpose. And when you lean into it, when you become the most authentic version of yourself and you stop trying to please other people or care what other people think, and you let go of all the programming from marketing and advertising and culture and parents and friends and family and even your job, when you start letting go of all that and the parenting influences right out there, I will mention that right now we live in a really heavy time of people feeling pressured to parent in a certain way. When we let go of all of that and we allow ourselves to truly be who we are, is when we can start coming back to ourselves. And so, yes, Dharma is for us, and it's for us to be able to express ourselves authentically and to feel all the beautiful gifts that come from that. Those feelings, once again, of joy and fulfillment, of deep internal peace, satisfaction, but also of service. And so when you're thinking about your Dharma and you're thinking, I'm just not sure what my soul's purpose is, a question that you can ask yourself is, how do I want to serve? So if I were given the opportunity to serve, how would I want to serve, and who would I want to serve? And how would I want the people that I'm serving to feel during that act of service? So, for example, I love doing my podcast, and my podcast is part of my Dharma. And it's a service. I see it as a service, right? Because you get to tune into this podcast for free anytime you want to or need to. And you get to hear uplifting messages. You get to feel seen and heard. You get to learn and be educated. You get practices to take with you to elevate your life. This is a form of service. And I love it. And it lights me up inside. And when you are listening to this podcast, I want you to feel seen. I want you to feel understood. I want you to feel uplifted, held, loved, accepted, empowered. These are the feelings that I want you to feel when you're listening to me and this show. And so I am serving you. And so my service is the podcast. The people that I'm servicing are the women listening to this show, and how I want them to feel is loved, held, seen, understood, empowered, educated, and like you are not reliant on me. Like, I'm giving you tools, right? I'm educating you, and I'm giving you tools that you can take with you into your life and use them anytime you need them. Pull them out of your back pocket. And so that is my Dharma, right? This is a way of me expressing my Dharma is through this podcast. So that's just an example. Your service could be through education. Your service could be through caretaking. Your service, and it doesn't have to be people, by the way, either, right? It could be animals. It could be the planet. It could be helping somebody to grow a business. It could be, being a mother and raising your children to be conscious people, conscious citizens of the world. It could be, helping animals at an animal shelter. It could be working for a nonprofit. It could be taking care of, like I said, the planet in some way, whether it be volunteering for a trash cleanup or trail maintenance or being an advocate, right? It could be advocating for the planet or for women's rights or for homeless people. I mean, there are so many ways in which we can serve this world. There is really no end in the amount of ways that we can serve this world. So when you're looking for your Dharma, that is a really big question. Who do I want to serve? How do I want to serve? And how do I want, if it's people, the people of this who are receiving my service to feel when I am serving them? And if you're not serving people, say you're serving, the planet, or you're doing something like advocating for the rights of a sector of the community where you might not be in direct contact with those people, what is the outcome that you are working towards, right? So yes, let's say you are advocating for women's rights. You are trying to make this world more equitable. If you are advocating for a change in our food system, right? You're trying to make this world more healthy. If you're advocating for the environment, you are trying to create a safer place for humans, animals, for plants, plants, trees, all living things, right? So try to identify what it is that's important to you, right? Is it being equitable? Is it being safe? Is it being empowered? These are all great questions to ask yourself when you think about how you want to serve. So taking some time this week, if you feel so called to do it, of thinking about what's really, really important to you, what really lights you up, right? These spiritual teachings that I talk about, yoga philosophy, mindfulness, Dharma, I do the yamas and the niyamas, and we'll get into so much more on the spiritual teachings as this podcast unfolds. But helping people to really come home to themselves, to see their place in the world, to trust their intuition and believe that they are here for a purpose, and that the greatest thing that they could do for themselves, their families, and the world is to step into that purpose, is something that I am super, super passionate about. So what are you that passionate about? I have a friend who is super passionate about the toxins in our food. And this is something that she just cannot stop thinking about, talking about, reading about, listening about. She wants to make this world a healthier place for herself, for her children, for her grandchildren one day, and for you and your children and your grandchildren. She is passionate about it. So what are you passionate about? How will it serve the world? And then how can you engage in it? These are really, really important questions to ask yourself when you are moving towards your Dharma. So think about those things and let me know. I want to know, what are you passionate about? How do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve? How do you want those people to feel? Or how do you want the world to change? Because you were here, because you existed, and because you had the courage to step into who you really are. And if you want a little help stepping into who you really are, then book a discovery call on my website, momontheverge.org. It's free. It's 20 minutes. You and I just get to chat. In the end, if you decide not to hire me, no harm, no foul. Everyone, it would be just an honor to have the conversation with you and get to meet you. Podcasting is amazing, and I love the solo episodes. I love having my guests on, but I don't have as much opportunity to engage with you guys, the audience, as I would like. So even if you call and we have the discovery call and nothing else comes of it, I got to have a conversation with you. And to me, it's worth it, all of it. All right. Have a wonderful week. Let me know what you come up with, and we will talk soon. Hi, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode or any of our other episodes, I ask that you please like the show, follow, subscribe, or share. The way that podcasts work is the more people that do one of those things, the more likely it is that when someone's looking for a podcast to listen to, our show will pop up for them. I started this podcast because I really see there's a great need in our world for people to feel more peace, joy, love, and acceptance in their lives. And I think we can do that when we have a greater sense of self-awareness. We can become conscious creators of our own lives. And I'm seeking to do that for as many people as possible. So if you could help me by liking, sharing, or subscribing to the show, I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully someone hears a conversation that changes their life. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Much love.